Check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. What's going on, everyone? I'm back with the homie, Lupe, and we're gonna try and get situated. But it's been a minute since I released a podcast, and I was like, man, I gotta release something, but I didn't want to release a solo thing, and so I hit up Lupe, and I was like, yo, you gotta hop on with me. Just a quick little introduction. Lupe is um, from Texas. He's unfortunately an Astros fan, but he moved to West Virginia 3 years ago now, and we've been homies since he came into the church. But yeah, I wanted to get back on here on the pod. I've had a burden for it again, and I didn't want to be by myself. And um, so, like I said, I wanted to try and get someone else on here. And so, Lupe was the first guy that came to mind. And so, I'm going to let Lupe introduce himself, and then we'll just chit chat and talk a little bit and see where the convo goes. But what up, Lupe? How you doing, buddy?
Hey Aaron, how you doing?
I'm doing swell. Where you from, Lupe?
Um, I was born and raised in Alvin, Texas.
Ooh,
So southeast for or southeast of Houston for those of you who don't know. And
yikes!
yeah. It's very hot and humid down there.
And the Astros are there.
The best team. As we all know, but to each their own.
Cheaters, cheaters. For anyone that doesn't know, the Astros cheated the Dodgers out of the
Allegedly.
2018 World Series.
Allegedly.
This man already getting at it. Allegedly, it was found out they were proven guilty, and the consequences were whack,
Allegedly.
as Cody Bellinger said. So you grew up in Houston?
I grew up in Houston, yes. Well, southeast of Houston, so like the outskirts.
Yeah.
Um, the town that I grew up in was more of a rural area. Um, I kind of bounced around a lot from Alvin. It's a small town. For those of you who know Roger Clement,
Yep, I know Roger Clemens.
he's actually the baseball team down there, Alvin Community College. Um, he went there, and yeah, it's crazy small, but
That's pretty
yes, I'm
tough.
from there. Um, I left from there probably at 6 months to go live in West Texas. My dad got a job out there back when my parents were still together. And they were there for maybe 4 months. And then my dad got hurt. He smashed his middle finger by a barrel. And he said, "This isn't for me." So him and my mom and me went back about 8 hours south back to Alvin. Um, but yes, I grew up there.
Did his finger get like chopped off or anything, or is it just like,
No, it's crazy story. He always says that it looks like a hammerhead because it's like flat.
oh my god?
Yeah, it's never looked the same since. But yeah, it's a pretty crazy uh story. But after we moved back, we kind of hopped around a little area down there of the southeast Houston area until my parents split up.
How old were you when they split up?
Um, I was 8 years old. Yeah, we at the time we lived in Webster, Texas. I'm sure a lot of y'all aren't familiar, but it's maybe about 30 minutes from where I originally grew up. And then my dad moved back to Alvin, and me, my mom, and my 4-year-old brother moved to Deer Park, Texas, where again about 20 minutes away from Webster, about 45 to an hour away from Alvin, just to get away. She didn't want to be in that area anymore.
Is
So
that where your dad was?
yes, yeah, he ended up staying there, and then eventually meeting my stepmom. So My mom just kind of wanted to keep her distance, type of thing.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And then she hit me up. She's
Hey,
like,
yo,
"Hey, Lupe needs a father." I was like,
bro,
"I'm
you.
here. I'm his pops."
He was probably like the same age as me. For those of you who don't know,
I'm
no,
like, "I'm his father. I'm your pops. What do you mean?" Yeah.
bro, we were like 8 together.
False. I was born in 1975.
Yo.
Max. So you grew up and then you went to high school there. You played a little bit of football, a little fullback, running back action.
Yes,
Big boy.
at the time, well, I grew up there, yes, in Deer Park, Texas, and I went through junior high, middle school for those some weirdos out there.
Bro, ain't no one know where anything about. We know Dallas, we know Houston, Amarillo because there's a song about it.
Wait, real question.
McAllen because the border.
Do you call it middle school or junior high?
Well, I don't call it middle high like you're about to say. I call it middle school. That's what my middle school is Desert Sky Middle School,
Okay.
and then my yeah. So I think junior high was back in the day what they called it. Was yours junior high?
That's what they called it.
Oh my
As far
God,
to
how
my
old are you?
knowledge, bro, I'm like 39.
Oh my gosh, this man's on X Games mode. And so you went to middle high school out there and all that stuff, and then instead of going to the NFL, you decided to take your talents to the Marines.
Yeah, so all the D1 colleges wanted me.
Yeah, they called they called the wrong number.
Yeah,
They couldn't get a
uh,
hold of you.
for some reason my number was wrong in there. They thought that I was like 6'7"
Yeah.
and like 250, but
No, my state roster at the college I went to said I was like 6'1", which is true factually.
if
What?
he's
What? What? What are you gonna say?
if he's standing on a 1 foot pedestal, bro, you're 5'1" on a good day. But anyway,
Don't listen to him. I literally tower over him. This man's
it,
5'2" on a good day
it's
in his cowboy boots. On a cowboy, he's still 5'2". On a cowboy, I mean, on a horse.
no. Oh man, he's
On
not
a
telling the
horse, he's
truth.
5'2".
Allegedly,
You, not allegedly,
allegedly,
factual. So yeah, so D1 tried to get a hold of you, but
they called the
then they
wrong
saw
number.
you and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this man's not 6'7". He's
Yes,
five foot
it
three."
was. Well, it was 1 foot off, so I
And
was
they were like,
five
"He's not
seven.
6'7", 250. He's 5'2", 250.
Yo, I was a little butterball.
No, you weren't. I've seen pictures
No.
of when you first joined the Marines.
Yeah, so um yeah, I played high school football all the way through, and then last game of the season, I wasn't that good. I'll be like I was decent, but
Well,
I wasn't
Texas is
as
just a
good.
different animal too.
Yeah, and we were in a super 5A high school. Um I was about like 5'7", 185 on a good day. And yeah, I like hardly ever played. I played kickoff return, and then I played punt and running back. And like it was like when the dude was tired, I'd get when the starter was tired, I'd get put in. So
Hey,
and that dude was like never tired. He was on like Trent or something. That dude was huge.
probably.
At in 8th grade, that dude was benching 315. We went to the same junior high
Now
school.
all the high schoolers on trend.
Yeah, that's true. Allegedly. No.
They're all on trend. They're all on SARMs or something, man. Some of these high schoolers that we see coming into the gym,
That's true.
these jokers are putting up 315 and they're like 180. I'm like, oh my gosh.
There's a bunch of those nowadays.
Yeah, and then they stand around in the gym and just take pictures too, little selfie acting.
Flex in the mirror.
They
Little
literally are
flex
taking off
action.
their shirts. I'm like, bro, this is a family facility.
They're walling out at the YMCA.
Yeah, Charleston, West Virginia. And so the Marines, they got you right or what? Why'd you join the
So
Marines?
um honestly, so again, football was my life up until um I mean, I was hoping to go all the way to the NFL. You know, you're young, you're
Everyone, yeah.
naive, and you think that you're just gonna make it. But the last game of my senior year, we were down by like it was like 54 to nothing. The team that we played was like just outstanding. They ended up winning state, but first round of the playoffs, we were hyped. They were hyped. They were extremely hyped, and they just blew us out of the water. It was the last quarter, and they were like, "Hey, go in. Let's see if we can make some
Hey,
magic happen." So I'm like, "Okay," and I ended up getting the ball, run down the field, and I just completely obliterate my knee. Some dude took out my knee, and it was just insane.
it's probably racist.
Yeah, it definitely was. But yeah, I got hurt, and then I kind of got really like not kind of. I got sad, very sad, and it just felt like my life was over at the time.
Yeah,
Like you're young and you're like,
yeah,
dude,
yeah,
I'm hurt,
yeah.
whatever. So
Makes sense.
um I remember going through the rest of my senior year and I was like, dude, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, how am I gonna make it through college? How am I gonna pay for college type of thing? And by the time graduation came around or was coming around, one of my buddies actually was telling me that I should go talk to the recruiter that he was talking to. And I was like, yeah.
Sorry about that if we had any technical difficulties, but go ahead.
Yeah, so I was hurt going through my senior year or whatever. A buddy in my math class, actually, I had three buddies in my math class that I was like pretty close to. One of them was like kind of like a cousin, you know, like Hispanics like to say everybody's their cousin.
It's true.
And he was actually on the football team too. And he was like, yeah, I'm talking to a recruiter, like you should come talk to him. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, but at the time I was just like really scared, and I didn't want to do it. I was like, no, because my grandpa always told me like, if you go join the Marine Corps, you join the army, whatever, the armed service, you're just gonna go to war and you're gonna die. And he was just really harsh about it.
Sheesh.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was he was a he's very like harsh and like stern with his words, but he just kind of like tried to fear monger me. So I was scared, and I was like, no, I would never do that. But I actually had a cousin that closer to my age. He was in the Marine Corps throughout the Afghanistan and Iraq war, and I reached out to him and I was like, hey, my buddy's trying to get me to talk to a recruiter. Like, what should I do? And he just kind of like, well, if you want to do it, do it. And if you need somebody there with you, I'll go with you. And I went into the recruiter's office, and my like mindset completely changed. I like walked in, and the dude was like, he's like, hey man, what do you want? And I was like, I want to join the Marine Corps. And he was like, okay, sit down. And they have these like protocols that they go through. He's like, hey, put this little stack of magnets in order of priorities of what you want. And I was like, dude, I don't care about that. I was like, just get me into the Marine Corps. So I was probably like one of the dumbest dudes that walked in, but I was just like, dude, just let's do this. And
Yeah.
I mean, he was all with it. Um, I went to go take my ASVAB with him. He was a great dude.
The recruiter.
Yeah, the recruiter, Staff Sergeant. Man, what's his last name? I already
Wow, you
forgot it,
just tried to
man.
shout him out.
Staff Sergeant McKinney. Staff Sergeant McKinney, awesome dude. Thank you so much, man. Because
Probably 1,000 of those guys.
yeah,
What's
there
what's
is
his first name?
Andrew, Staff
Okay.
Sergeant Andrew
All right.
McKinney.
All right.
So yeah, he was a great dude. He ended up getting out in my process of me getting in, so it was kind of crazy.
It
But
worked out
yeah, it did.
that you got to see him before he left.
Yes,
That's cool.
and he I mean he still keeps in touch to this day. But yeah, I walked in and I was just like, dude, I'm all for it. Let's do this. And I mean, knowing what I know now, looking back, I wish I would have like looked into the other opportunities, different recruiters, Navy, Army, Air Force. But
Why?
why? Just because like the difference in lifestyle. I mean, the Marine Corps taught me a lot. It gave me a bunch of
Yeah.
life lessons, but at the same time, like the Marine Corps lifestyle is not sustainable for, well, let me take that back. The Marine Corps lifestyle, it's hard to have a family
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. No,
work
you make sense. No,
lifestyle.
it makes sense.
So, I mean, if I was in the Air Force, it'd be completely different. And,
Yeah.
um,
Well, and the only reason why I ask, and it probably is good that, people are hearing this from someone who's like not making money off of you joining like recruiters do. And I'm not knocking them, of course, but there is obviously incentive. Everyone should know that. If they don't know that, there's incentive for recruiters to get
yes,
you to sign the paper. That's just reality of things. That's their job. So like anyone that's listening that is thinking about these things should, like how you reached out to, your other your friend to see like who had served in the Iraq and Afghanistan war. Like you actually reached out to like someone who's currently serving to see if it's worth it. Um, but just so that people know if they're actually thinking about it, like the Marines is ain't no joke.
yes, it's definitely, especially being like a 18-year-old fresh off the street, what they would say, coming straight out of high school, just being young and being like, dude, I'm giving my life to this, and you really do, because I mean, especially if you go active duty like I did, um,
They says, "See you later. You're going to Japan."
yeah, yeah, it was quick. It was very quick, and I mean that was all on me. That was all me wanting to do that because I originally, once I got done with boot camp and the combat training in my school, I had told my mom, because I'm a huge mama's boy. I told my mom, I'm gonna go to California. I'm gonna stay in California, and I'm just gonna do my time there,
Mm-hmm.
get out, and go straight back to Texas.
A Texas boy want to live
Yeah.
in California.
So yeah, I mean there's only like 3 or 4 different places you could go in the Marine Corps.
San
It's
Diego's pretty nice, man.
yes.
Hey,
So it
that whole area,
yes, California is beautiful, but
San Diego, Orange County, like those are the places. If you're gonna live in California, I feel like
yes,
those are the
but you need that money.
gotta have that bread.
Yeah. um but yeah, I shipped off pretty quick. I went straight to boot camp. I went to combat training and then came back home for a bit. Went to Missouri for uh, my school for mechanic. I'm a heavy equipment mechanic, so I learned how to work on heavy equipment there. And then that's where I got the incentive, like, hey, where do you want to go? And it's either East Coast, West Coast, or overseas. Those are the 3 options that you get in the Marine Corps. And like I said, I had told my mom I want to go West Coast.
Yeah,
And then when the time came, the staff sergeant that was my teacher, he looked at me and he was like, dude, you're only going to be 18 once. You're only going to get this opportunity one time in your life. And if you don't take that opportunity to take that step to go overseas or whatever it may be, then you're going to regret it. And I was like, you know what? You only live
YOLO.
once. Yeah. So I was like overseas and
What year was this? 2015.
20, yeah, 2015.
So YOLO had already been a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, you're using that beautiful rationale.
Yes. It
You're
was
like,
insane.
YOLO.
Yeah. I was like, dude,
Going to
let's just
Japan,
do
bro.
it.
I'm gonna go on a boat. How long
Yeah.
were you on the boat to get there?
Oh no,
Oh,
so
you flew there.
yeah,
Oh,
we flew
yeah,
there.
okay.
So after I finally got my orders to go into Japan or to go to Japan, I got 2 weeks to go home. I went home, had a blast with my family, and then it was just like, hey, see you in 2 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I flew to Seattle. From Seattle, I flew over to mainland Japan, and then they flew us to Okinawa, Japan, which is where I was stationed. And I was there for 2 years, and like stepping off that plane, man, being 18, I was like, bro, what am I doing here? Like, this is crazy.
You
Like,
were the tallest one there.
bro, I was still short.
You were. Everyone was just as tall as you.
Yeah, bro. I was like, bro, I'm looking everybody in the eye.
They were like, well, normally we're looking up at Americans, and you're
It was,
eye level with us.
yeah.
They're like
Oh,
disappointment.
bro. Yeah, I was hurt because I was like, I'm finally gonna be tall for once in my life.
Didn't
Yeah.
happen.
No, not at all.
You can go like, let's think. Let's think to get you to a place where you'd be tall. I guess just walk around to elementary school. You might get in trouble
Even
for
though,
that.
even those dudes are on trend
Yeah,
too.
those kids are sorry, especially the kids around here. These country boys,
Bro, I don't know what it is. Some dude's just throwing bays of hell or something.
probably
Wait, is it bays of? I think
bays of
of hay.
hay.
Yeah.
I
Excuse
think it's
me.
bales of
Bales of hay.
could be just like what's those things where you pick up where they have two handles with the is it a wheelbarrow?
Wheelbarrow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wheelbarrows of hay. We'll
Yeah.
just create our own saying.
I like that one better.
Or you just put a little Mexican twist on it. Little lawnmowers of hay.
Yo, that's got to be racist.
It's okay. I could say it. I'm 1.5% Mexican.
I can see it.
Yeah, I'm Mexican out here, out in Arizona.
Bro, you stick out like a sore thumb over here, bro. For real.
Who I do? You do.
They're like, what is that brown boy doing over here?
Oh, they did not say that.
It's only jokes, I promise.
They don't say it. It ain't that bad out here. It ain't. Honestly, I remember when I was in Tucson. Some of these, that was some of the kids that out in Arizona that I saw like the most like hatred towards other races.
Bro, I
Although one time I'm like clearly white, like I'm 25% Mexican, but with this little mustache, and in the summer I get a little tan. And I was working at Target, and one of the lady was like, "You forgot to give me my change, boy." And I was like, "What?"
she hit that boy really hard.
Yeah. I was like, "What?" I was like, "Okay,
Oh
sorry." She's
man.
like, "Don't let it happen again, boy." I was like, "All right."
It was it wasn't bad, until I saw my first colored water fountain here. Colored only. I'm
There,
playing, I promise.
there's like a picture right above it with like someone that looks like you with the mustache and glasses. Like you
Yo,
drink here
I'm like, is that George Lopez?
right above it. Sheesh.
Bro,
No, that's not true. Not here.
I thought it said
So
Jesus.
wait, so you entered Japan and then how'd you end up in by God, West Virginia country roads?
So my 2 years ended in Japan. I it felt like forever. And seriously, man, being young, away from home, and especially being a mama's boy and just missing your family all the
Soft.
time. Yeah, I was very soft. I uh I was just sad, and the 2 years felt like it just dragged on. And
That
then
makes sense though. That's tough. I remember hearing the same thing from someone else that my buddy I grew up with, Arturo Munguia, is he was the same. He was stationed in Japan. It's actually crazy because I've told you about him,
yeah,
and you guys just missed each other. I think I think he left right after you, or I think he got there like
right after I
yeah,
left, I
right
think.
after you
Yeah.
left.
Yeah, so yeah, it was a long time, or it felt like a long time. I mean, 2 years as a 18-year-old, you're like, two
Yeah,
years that's gonna go by
and
soon.
it's not like you're just every day out there exploring.
Yeah,
It's like you have a job,
yeah,
you have curfew, you have guidelines that you have to follow. It's not like a vacation for 2 years where you're just like,
that's exactly yeah,
yeah.
because especially for us being in a maintainer shop, it was like,
And the Marines
yeah,
have a stricter. like set of rules
Oh
than like the
yeah.
army or the guard, right?
Oh yeah.
Or the Air
Like
Force.
it was dude, it was like it was dumb to the point where it was just like laughable, you know what I mean? Like I was a junior Marine, fresh out of boot camp, out of basic training, whatever y'all want to call it. And as I was there, I would just see some of the dumb stuff. Like there was a guy that got a DUI, and he
Jeez.
was like what, I think he had been in for like 16 years, so he was like a E7, E8, and
What's your current rank?
E5
E5.
sergeant. So he would it was crazy. He got a DUI, and
In
they were,
Japan. This is in Japan.
yes, in Japan. He was from our unit, right?
Okay.
So they're like, all right, hey, your unit, they're not doing something right. So everyone from E5 and below cannot drink.
Yeah.
But E5 and above, so his ranks were good to drink still.
So he's the one that gets a DUI.
Yes. He
Oh
no,
my
no, no.
god.
So he got the DUI, and then those
And then
repercussions
this.
happen afterwards.
Oh my.
So we're like, bro, what? And then units around us, like other Marine Corps units, they're like, hey, E5 and above, y'all dudes can't drink. But E5 and below, y'all can drink now. Cause like E5 and above are the ones that are having the problems.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there, we're like, what sense does this make? Like
Yeah.
these dudes are getting, like, their ranks are getting punished, but like the lower enlisted's getting punished in our unit. And it's like whatever,
Yeah.
drinking,
Doesn't make
like,
sense. Yeah.
yeah, dude, it was crazy. And
Rules
then they
for
were
me,
like,
but not for me.
yes. And then they hit us with, hey, y'all can't go off base. And we're like,
Oh no.
yeah, dude, it was just, it was thing after thing, but it was just like random stuff, like
Yeah.
some random dude, and like a bunch of incidents that happen. And like, if they happen overseas, they're worse.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's then an international incident, no matter
Yeah.
how big or how small, I guess you could
Yeah.
say. But yeah, it was crazy, man. Like some dude missed curfew, and then they're like, "Hey, y'all can't go off base," and we're like, "What?" Like that one
Yeah.
dude got in trouble, and now we're all in trouble. Like,
Yeah. That's tough.
it was dumb.
So you get back from Japan, and then you're given the option to go anywhere,
So,
or
all
New
right.
York, West Virginia, and what was?
Well, that was all right. So after Japan, I went to San Diego. I
Yeah.
was in San
Okay. Yeah. I
Diego.
remember that. Yeah.
I was in San Diego for 4 years. Just got random orders, and they were like, "Hey, you're going to San Diego." So I'm there, and originally I was planning on doing drill instructor. So I wanted to go and be a Marine Corps drill instructor and be at boot camp and make Marines. And that wasn't God's will,
Yeah.
because I had tried to go 3 different times. I got accepted. I showed up 3 different times, and they were like, "Hey, your seat got pushed back, so
Okay.
you can't go to this class."
Yeah.
Next one, same thing happened. The
Yeah.
third one, this is after being in San Diego already for 4 years. They were like, "Hey, you don't have orders anymore. Contact your monitor and see where you can get orders to, because you can't go back to your unit."
Yeah.
So I called my monitor, and I was like, "Hey, man, um, I want to go do a billet, like at the billet that I am now." I was like, preferably in Texas,
Mm.
because at this point I was like disgruntled. I was mad with the Marine Corps. I did not want to stay in. So I was like, what better way not to stay in than to go back, like be close to home, than get out of the Marine Corps close to home.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, man, I'll send you orders. Well, I'll send you the list of places that you can go. And I was like, okay, cool. I checked my email like 10 minutes later, and they sent me orders to West Virginia. And I was like, this joker just lied to me, bro. I was like, come on now.
That's
I
hilarious.
was I was upset, and I was like, I don't even know where West Virginia is. Like, hey, I don't, it might have been my education back in the day,
That
but
Texas education
yeah.
said Texas is the only place in the world that matters. So
Yeah, I was like, dude, where is this, in Ukraine? Like, but yeah, I was like, dude, what's going on? And I had asked one of my, but well, technically they said I was going to Baltimore, so because that's where our main unit's at. And then I checked, I did some research, and they said, oh no, that place is in West Virginia. And I was like, what's West Virginia? So I started doing research, right?
What's West Virginia?
Yeah, I thought it was like
What a question.
the western part of Virginia.
Yeah, most people do on the West Coast.
Yeah,
It's true.
it was weird. And so, I mean, I asked everybody around, and then people who were from the East Coast were like, "Bro, you're about to get lynched." And I was, I'm being dead serious, and like, I'm not. It's not like that here, but
Yeah.
like my initial like mindset was like, I'm gonna die, and I was just like freaking out.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
so scared, and just and this was in 2020, so like when COVID was going down,
Yeah.
and this was like
And you're like, actually, I'm glad to be getting out of California.
yeah, yeah, it was a ghost town in California at the time, so it was insane. And actually, funny thing about that, my my date to come here kept getting pushed back.
Mhm.
So for those of you who know, um, West Virginia was like one of the last ones to get hit.
Yeah.
So it
To have a
was
reported COVID case.
yes,
Yeah.
and it was a green zone for the longest time. And then once it became red, it was so small that it just stayed red for a while, you know.
Yeah.
So with it being a red uh infectious area, whatever they called it, um they were like, "Hey, you can't leave yet." So like I was supposed to get here in April of 2020.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Hey, actually the Marine Corps just pushed out this order. It states that you can't go to a zone that's red. So you can't leave a red zone and go to a red zone. You can only leave a red zone and go to a green
So
zone."
no zones were green.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
everybody was just stuck. It was like
Yeah.
it was a limbo. So it almost got to the point where they were gonna stop and not get me orders here.
Mhm.
Um, so that year just kind of like drug on. And then finally they were like, "Hey, bro, you're leaving in like 2 weeks."
Wow.
And I was like, "Whoa, okay." So I got all my stuff taken care of. And then me and my wife and our one dog at the time, we drove from San Diego all the way to West Virginia. On the way, we
I've
stopped in
done that.
Texas.
I've
Bro,
done
it
that.
was,
I've done that like
don't
10
do it.
times.
Don't do it.
Yeah,
Just don't. It's
I've done it.
far.
Yeah. Well, getting through Texas is like 20 hours alone.
Bro.
So you got to go if you're gonna go do it from West Virginia to Arizona or West Virginia to California, like what my family has done. You got to just hit the tip of Texas top, and then just go around it.
Yeah, bro.
Because
It's
going
so,
through is just desert, more desert, and more desert.
bro, for the distance from Dallas to El Paso,
Mm.
that distance is longer than the distance from El Paso to San Diego.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That's crazy.
That's insane.
But one of the things people don't realize, or maybe not that they don't realize it, but like one of the cool things about living on the East Coast is that in 5 hours you're in Washington D.C. In 8 hours you're in New York City, from where we're at in Charleston. In 2 hours you're in Lexington, Kentucky. In 4 hours you're in Nashville, Tennessee. In 7 hours you're in Georgia. That doesn't apply to like California, Arizona, or like in 2 hours in Arizona, in Tucson, you're still in Arizona. Like you could be out of the state in West Virginia in like 45 minutes. It's not like just everything's just relatively so much closer on the East Coast. All these states are just so much closer. And like
Yes,
that's really cool. I think that's like a huge benefit that you
it
just don't
is.
get. In Texas, you're 20 hours, you're still in Texas.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah, it's insane. And you're like, I mean, from where I am, I'm like an hour and a half away from Louisiana, which
Yeah.
is like not a good area to be because like floods and
Yeah.
hurricanes that hit.
Yeah.
So
So
hurricane
you're in West Virginia. Your wife is working at GNC, which I don't know. You probably don't know what that is. It's a supplement store for you can
allegedly.
get protein, you can get pre-workout there, you can get creatine. I don't know. So typically people take that stuff when they go to the gym. So gym is not a person. Man, I feel like so
Okay.
gym is not a person. Gym is spelled GYM. Gimm,
G-
Gimm,
Pause.
Gimme, Jimmy,
Jimmy.
gimme,
Hey, yo.
and you actually lift weights here.
Okay.
Weights are
Keep it going.
weights are what you lift to get muscles.
Okay.
Muscles.
Well, everybody has those.
So your wife's working at GNC, and my mom comes in rocking an LA Dodgers hat and
Mask.
oh, a
LA Dodgers
mask, a
mask.
Dodgers
Yes.
mask. Man, I can't believe my
Very,
mom was wearing a mask
first of all, very unfortunate that she was wearing a Dodgers mask.
because it reminded you that you
That's
guys
a
cheated.
that's a double negative.
Only one negative in that situation: the mask.
I would go the other way, but
So your wife sees the LA Dodger mask, and the conversation sparks, and she's like, my mom ends up inviting Yada to church,
yes.
and Yada comes to church. Lupe does not.
Yes, I hadn't gone in.
And so Yada comes, and then she brings Lupe, not maybe like a week after,
I think it was like two,
two
yeah,
weeks,
2 weeks after.
2 weeks after, Lupe walks in looking like he owns the place.
Hey, yo.
He had to, he had to, what we have a double doors to get to the church. He has to go through this, like turn sideways and like walk through just because his lats are so big. Look like he's gonna fly away. And so I'm like, sheesh, this man's a power lifter. Turns out he
I was.
and I think you were wearing an anime shirt too.
Hmm,
I don't
I don't
know. I was like,
remember
oh, this guy's a nerd.
that I am. Yes.
I was like, he's a powerlifting nerd.
Yes, I.
No, so then they started coming and but how did that like when Yada was like, hey, I found a church. How did that conversation go?
So when we were in California and we had just gotten married, um, we kept telling each other that like we're going to look for a church, and it was kind of rough because we had gotten married in 2019, literally right before COVID hit. So COVID hit like 4 months after we had gotten married,
Mm-hmm.
and we were doing long distance. So like we were married, but she was living in Wisconsin.
Mm.
So I was in San Diego, she was still in Wisconsin. And we like she would come to San Diego, and we would spend like a week or two together,
Mm-hmm.
and then she'd have to go back because at the time too she was still a well, she was a GNC manager
Mm-hmm.
out in Wisconsin. And then she COVID hit. Once COVID hit, she had actually changed jobs, and she was working for like a cell phone company, and she was like a sales associate, but then they told her like, hey, COVID, so nobody's coming in. So everybody had to learn how to be a customer service representative, and they did it from home.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, perfect opportunity. Like they're not gonna have her come into the shop or
Yeah, the store.
the store. And they were like, she was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to California.
Mm.
Like, and I'm moving all my stuff. And she brought, it was just her and our dog. And we had kept saying, we're gonna find a place, we're gonna find a place. And over there at the time, they were trying to find any way to do church
Mm-hmm.
because California was terrible, extremely bad. Like the COVID restrictions were just insane.
Yeah.
And then there was a church that we had that I was telling her about. I was like, we should go to this church. Crazy thing too, it is a door church.
Mm.
I don't know if it's of the congregation,
Mm-hmm.
but what they were doing was they were going to the beach
Yeah.
and meeting at the beach,
That's
and
tough.
they were preaching at the beach. But then a lot of stuff started hitting, and they were like, the cops started like coming in,
It's
and
crazy.
yeah, it was
That's
crazy.
crazy.
But
Authoritarian stuff.
yeah, And we were like, you know what? We'll just wait. We'll wait until we get over there. So we get here, and then again, we get here, and there's people telling us like, dude, churches around here, they got the snake churches, and you're gonna get bit by an alligator. We're like, what? Like, I've never heard of a church like that. So yeah, it was just like, it was crazy. And I was working a lot, and my wife at the time had just gotten the job, or just went back to GNC
Yeah.
here. And that's whenever she met Miss Kim, your mom. And
Yeah.
after she had came home and told me, and I remember I was just like, okay, like, yeah, we found a church, all right. And then it was just like, that was all it was, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, hey, I'm going to church. And I was like, oh man, I'm tired. But like, that was just me being like, I don't know, like, I'm nervous
Mm-hmm.
because like, I know that she had liked it, but for me, like, I hadn't been yet. So I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I was nervous. This was going to be our first time like going into a church together, and
Yeah.
like worshiping and like doing everything like really
Yeah.
together. So um it was, I was skeptical. I was really skeptical. And
Mm.
then one day, like, we had talked about it, and it was just like, hey, we got to go.
Mm-hmm.
So we went, and like, I'm happy that we went, cuz
Yeah.
like, I mean, it's helped our marriage, it's helped everything. Like,
Mm.
I mean, now we have a son, we have another
Sheesh.
dog.
Boo.
So we have 3 kids. No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
Yo.
So yeah,
He
we
has in
have
his Instagram bio. Dog dad. Dad dog.
that that dog.
Dad dog.
Yeah. So yeah, we
Father to 2 dogs. Oh my gosh. People that
and one baby
compare.
boy.
People that compare. Cat mom. I'm just a mother of cats.
Bro, let them flex.
No, that's not the same. You're not. Cats are the worst. Cats run away
Bro,
and they come back like
put a
baby.
leash. Put a leash on
Put a
them.
leash on a cat.
Yes.
Oh my god. Dad dog. No, I have a dog. That's it.
Yes. So yeah, we have 2 dogs, and then now we have a son. He's 8 months. He'll be 9 months on the first, which was awesome. And that's again all that has came like from us going to church and taking that first step, like,
Yeah.
honestly. And it was crazy because like, I grew up in like a Catholic like background,
Yeah.
which like most Hispanics do, you know.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, heck no, like, I don't like this. So
Yeah.
I think I was probably like 6 or 7, and she was like, no, we're not doing this anymore. So that's whenever we ended up converting. And crazy enough, we started going to Lakewood. That was the first church. And like,
Mhm.
I mean, whatever y'all think about mega churches, but at the same time, like, that was our first step into the door, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So my mom actually worked at the little library they had there.
Oh,
So
that's
like,
cool.
we were spending a lot of time there
At the
at the
church. Yeah.
church, which was cool. But we weren't getting that community. It was just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, like, look at these dudes, and then we never see them again, type of thing. So
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
it,
Walking into our church, it's small. It's a
yes,
small community.
sometimes you try to stay away from some people, but you can't.
Yeah, you're trying to stay away from people with mustaches, but you can't.
Yo, bro,
You,
I don't know if you could see our reflection right now, but
you,
we both have
no.
mustaches.
I have a beard. My mustache is darker than the rest of it.
True.
Trying to stay away from people with cowboy boots who think they're cowboys because they're from Texas and started watching Yellowstone all of a sudden.
Bro, I have never watched Yellowstone.
Okay, Matthew McConaughey.
I'll take that as a compliment.
He had a compliment. He's a great actor. Top 5 all time. You need to get a cowboy hat.
I do.
You
For
look
those
like
of
Morgan
you,
Wallen.
for those of you who want to donate to a cowboy hat, and
And they're crazy expensive.
yes,
What's
they're
wrong
like
with those things?
$200, bro.
That's crazy.
Yes, very crazy.
Not worth it.
Not at all.
I would go and buy like a little one from Texas Airport or something like that. Dallas Airport.
A straw. Those are probably going to be more expensive.
I do want one.
They're nice.
I want to get, but we don't have cowboys out here. We have just country boys. Like they wear the trucker hats with the flannel. Like they're not out there, with the cowboy hat flexing.
Yep, country boys can survive.
Country boys.
Go ahead. Go on. Let them cook. Oh,
Country
man.
boy. Thank God I'm a country boy. John Denver sings that. So you coming to church. I'm like, man, this guy lifts. He's a power lifter. And so then come to find out that you lifting, you love working out, and that's like something definitely that we have in common. So now you're on a different path, though, where you're about to get out of the Marines, and you're training for.
So I'm training to go into the Air National Guard, which, yes, some of you may say, like, wow, that's crazy. Like, you really have to train for that. But the specialized job that I'm going into, it's a special warfare job. It's called a tactical air control party. Without the party,
Yeah,
you're not really party.
yeah, and so you have at the beginning when you decided that you were going to go out for that position, like your workouts have always entailed like lifting heavy, cardio when you need it, but because you have to make weight in the Marines, but for the most part, um, you've always been like powerlifting type of guy. But now this workout's definitely cardio based, where to meet the requirements, you have to swim a mile, right?
You the requirements are kind of crazy. It's swim. Well, first to start off, it's like I don't know what they call it in the Air Force. They're like physical fitness test, but it's oh, I'm sorry, I'm blinking out. It's 50 crunches, 40
Easy,
push-ups, like
easy,
strict push-ups,
easy,
um a minimum of 8 strict dead hang pull-ups
easy.
in under 2 minutes, and then a 1.5 mile run in under 10 minutes and 20 seconds,
Okay,
which
now we're
that's
cooking.
yeah, now we're cooking. It's getting hot. Then you go into the pool, you swim two 25-meter swims underwater, completely submerged, and then you at the end you swim back freestyle
Okay,
in under two something, which like
yeah,
not that bad, but whatever.
yeah,
And then you get like 5 minutes of rest, and you go straight into a 500-meter swim in under 10 minutes and 30 seconds.
yeah.
So that's where it gets crazy. And
Because
that's,
that's all consecutively.
yes, that's all a 1 day event. And it's probably within like an hour or two, maybe. Um, but that's all. It's called the initial fitness test, and that's to get into the special warfare program. But where me being prior service,
Yeah,
um, I have to make all the requirements. So there's two separate requirements. There's a requirement to make it into special warfare,
yeah.
and that's they call it like class 1 or something like that. And
Uh-huh.
those are the dudes that are like fresh out of high school.
Yeah,
So like, okay, they can make these requirements, which the times are a little bit higher, but they for the people like me, I have to be ready to ship out like basically at any time. So my times have to be the times to make it into the to special warfare. Um which it sounds crazy, but you need a time to like the minimum time. That's the time for like any off the street dude. But the times that I just gave out, those are the times to be able to go to the course and compete in the course.
yeah.
So I like completely flip my world like
Yeah.
360.
And you've already lost a ton of weight with doing all your cardio, right?
Yes, yeah, I've lost about just at 30
30
30
pounds.
pounds. Yeah, I was a big boy. I was at like I
But
was
you were lifting heavy, more weight. You push more weight you got
yes.
on you. Throw it up, throw it around.
Yeah.
What was a couple of your maxes?
So
Oh,
the
hold on. Let's pause right here. We're back. I had to deal with something. My pops came by. My back has been killing me, and so it's been hindering my workouts. But they thought it was maybe a slipped rib or displaced rib. I don't know the terminology, and then maybe a bruised kidney, and then now they just think it might be a muscle issue in my lower back. It just keeps spasming and stuff, and uh, I don't know.
Hopefully, it's just like back spasms.
Yeah, hopefully. So, but what was some of your PRs? I want a
So
big boy. I need a big boy.
I was looking like Drewski.
Sheesh.
No, for bench, so my all-time record was 375,
Yeah,
but I hurt myself after that.
yeah. See, that's
And
the
then
thing, man. It's like
yeah, it was
injuries. That's where I think I messed up my back was when I PR'd in December
oh yeah,
squatting.
that'll do it.
Bro.
That's one of the biggest things, which like I was just so naive at the time. I thought that that was like the only way that you could work out, and I liked lifting the heavy weights, but
Yeah,
all
we
it
all
did,
do.
yeah,
It's fun. It's cool to be able to say you did something.
yes. I mean, especially I'm now so that I've tailored my workouts to a different spectrum of working out, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
I have been doing like kettlebell workouts and
yeah.
just a lot of high
Okay, Joe
intensity, high
Rogan.
reps. Yeah. And like I'm not gonna sit here and say that kettlebell workouts are the amazing, but like for me now, I'm like,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah,
these
yeah,
things are cool. Like,
yeah.
and I had always looked at
Mobility, agility, like they have all
yeah,
like in their head
yeah.
and
And it's cool because like, dude, you can mess your body up with like a 30-pound kettlebell
yeah,
and just doing like a 25-minute workout
yeah,
and you will be smoked. Like
yeah,
I kettlebells humbled me very fast.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And like I've been doing a bunch of pull-ups. I've been trying to do 100 pull-ups a day.
yeah.
I
Did you do it today?
I did. I did.
Nice.
So yeah, I've been doing a lot of that and then swimming. And I've dude, I have never swam a day in my life before I joined the Marine Corps. And then we did this little like every year you do this little swim qualification in the Marine Corps, and it's just like checking the box type of thing. And
Yeah.
I mean, actually, they're changing that this year. They're trying to make it harder, but
Okay.
there's that, and then I mean, that was really all I had for swimming. And then I got in the pool for the first time, dude. I could barely swim one lap. It
It's
was
hard.
terrible.
Swimming's hard.
Yeah, and
Swimming's really hard.
I got in the pool one like the first time that I got in the pool, and I was like, all right, my mindset's changed. I'm going into this new workout routine type of thing. So I'm like, this is gonna be easy.
Yeah.
All I have to do is all I have to do is swim.
Yeah.
And yeah, it didn't go too well for like the first 2 weeks. I was so sore. I was like, I would finish 100 meters and I would just hang on the side of the pool for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now I can do hundreds of meters like easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
not easy,
Yeah,
but
but
like
with the right pace, with the right form, like you're able to pace it out and
yes.
do what you got to do.
Yes. And for those of you who don't swim,
Crazy workout.
you should swim.
So good.
Do it. Go to the YMCA.
I
Go to
never
your
swam.
local
Yeah.
YMCA.
Yeah. I never started swimming until when I was training for the triathlon that I did in September. And like I didn't really pick up swimming until 2022, really. Like the beginning of 2022, I was like, and then I hopped in the pool, started swimming a lot. Um, it's so good. Like
It
you'll just
is.
see weight fall off of you, and you
Yes.
just incorporate it into your, cardio session. Do 20, 30 minutes, swimming or whatever it is, or you could do 10 minutes swimming and just do some sort of like Tabata or like hit workout where you're like go as fast as you can, rest, go as fast as you can, rest, and just stuff like that where you're burning. I mean, you burn so many calories swimming, dude. It's like insane. Look up how to swim on YouTube and find. I mean, these guys are just studs.
Yes.
Like the
And
guys that do it all, like the Ironman dudes and the triathlon dudes. Triathlon dudes are more skinny, definitely a lot leaner. And that's not something that appeals to me, like that type of body. But like they'll definitely teach you how to swim and definitely help you as far as like form is concerned. And so, but yeah, swimming ain't no joke.
Yeah, a lot of like the CrossFit, like Spartan race type things.
Yeah. Yeah, say what you want about CrossFit, but those jokers are studs as far as like being
Yes,
able to be good at, and like obviously the CrossFit Games athletes, they're they're above average, but like these guys are like excellent at so many different things.
they are.
Like that's
They
tough.
really are.
Like that's tough.
Like it. You don't think about it whenever, like in high school, we used to do like a bunch of power cleans. We used to do
Yeah.
snatches and stuff like that. And at the time, you're like, like whatever. Like this is just another workout. But like deadlift is funner, squats funner
Yeah.
because it's easier. Well, to me, it's easier
Yeah.
as far as like the mindset
And it's
wise.
a little like less demanding as far as like, well, I don't know about demanding, but it's like you can lift heavier with those
Yes,
things. Like you're
yes,
not like some people guys are, but like you're not throwing up 315 on a power clean.
bro, for
You know what I'm
real.
saying? Like, you
Yes,
can throw up like whatever 225, but like you deadlift, you throw up 505,
yeah,
500.
yeah,
Like now you're talking about serious weight. Throw up
bro.
600.
Yes,
Now
you.
you're talking about some serious weight, and it looks cool.
Do you want? If you want to be humbled, go to the gym tomorrow. Throw a 25 on the bar
Yeah,
and try to power clean it.
yeah,
Bro, I like wrist mobility, shoulder mobility,
yeah,
knee mobility. I never ever thought about it. Like, cause I'm just like, dude, my range of motion is a squat. My range of
yeah,
motion is grabbing the bar, picking it up, and putting it back down.
yeah,
Putting the bar over my chest, pressing it. That's it.
yeah,
And then now I'm like, dude, there's so many things that I was lacking
yeah.
that I just never, I was just so not, I wouldn't say naive. I was choosing to be ignorant at that fact because I was like, I don't care about stretching.
Well, they're just not as yeah. It's just not appealing.
Yes.
It's like it's like I don't know, powerlifting or sorry, just like cleaning. I don't know. It's just not as um cool, I guess if you say
Yeah,
like
bro.
you go into
Like,
a gym, you're deadlifting, you're doing the compound movements, deadlift, squat, bench, and
yes.
like
And
those are
bicep
like the
curls. Don't forget the bicep curls.
oh every day's arm day. And then you got 20 minutes on the treadmill,
Yeah.
incline, 15, 3.5 walk.
Oh, yeah. That's when it gets hard.
Do you
No.
stair stepper?
Yes. Yeah.
Chris Bumstead, shout out,
Shout out, Dad.
helping us. Pause,
All right, Daddy. I meant Daddy.
pause, resume.
But yeah, it's very humbling, and it's humbling as well whenever you have a kettle because I'm following a different regiment. So
Yeah,
like the workout regiment that I have is geared more towards those like special operations athletes, and it's a lot of like CrossFit type workouts. And I I saw the first kettlebell workout and I was like, bro, I'm gonna throw a 45-pound kettlebell.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
No, I grabbed like the 30 real quick and I was gassed. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I get it. Yeah,
insane.
it messes with. I mean, it's crazy cardio,
It is.
crazy cardio. And if you're not used to that, if you haven't incorporated that into like your workouts once or twice a week, then like just going straight into it's gonna be brutal.
Yeah.
And that's when you saw your like major weight loss. It was really towards the beginning, huh?
Yes. Yeah,
Everything just melted off of you.
yeah. It was weird cuz I at the same time I was like looking at myself like I don't think I'm losing any weight. And then people were like, "Hey, bro,
No, yeah,
like
it's definitely noticeable for
yeah.
sure. It's always funny, like people that you don't see for a little bit, and then you see them, you're like, oh my gosh, crazy difference,
Yes.
crazy difference.
They say that I look like stick, something like a stick bug.
A stink bug? You
Stick.
smell like a stink bug.
No,
Maybe that's
like
what they were saying.
probably.
They were saying
Base.
you smell like a stink bug.
Bro, those protein farts.
Protein farts are ain't no joke.
Yeah.
No, for real. See, I'm in a room full of 30 kids, so I can fart and just be like, "Who did that?"
Hey, yo.
Just kidding. I've never done that.
For those of his students out there listening to
They ain't
this,
listening to this.
you now know.
Just kidding. I don't know. They might. They come up to me like, "Mr. No, you have a podcast?" I'm like, "I did back in the day. Back in the day, I had podcasts.
It's
Back in the days of 2020 when we were all stuck at home. I wasn't. I was recording and going golfing.
it was like that.
Every day I was golfing. In 2020, people were like, stay home. I was like, I'm going golfing. Me and my dad.
Where?
Dude, they were open. So at Little
Really?
Creek, right down the street, we'd go to Huntington and golf there. Yeah, dude, I was golfing all the time. West Virginia wasn't very, as far as like, it wasn't really locked down. And until Justice won the governorship um, again in November of that year. And all of a sudden, this Joker's just like, we need to have masks in all the buildings. And he went crazy as far as like, he tried to be all,
So
authoritarian on it.
yeah,
And just people were like, I'm not going to listen to you.
yeah. I remember when I
We had
first
to
got here.
just push back, there's power in numbers.
Yeah, when I first got here, it was like, again, coming from California,
Yeah.
I got followed in the supermarket
In California.
in California. I was at a Vaughn's. For those of you in
Shout out
California,
Vons.
Vaughn, shout out.
Yeah.
Bro, I was walking around. I was on the phone with my wife actually, and I was just being a joker, I didn't really care about the whole mask thing. I mean, whatever y'all think about it, but I had my mask on my chin and the lady followed me and she was upset, very like visibly distraught. And I was just like, ma'am, like you're over there, I'm over here. And she
Yeah.
was like, you need to put on your mask. And
It changed people, bro. It changed
yeah,
people.
it was terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Not to get into all that again, but
Yeah,
we
for sure.
I definitely was just one of the people that was like, dude, just let us do what we want.
For real.
If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. Ain't no one stopping you. If you don't want to wear a mask, don't wear a mask. Leave people alone. Don't try and feel like you're better than them
Yes,
just because
for real.
I'm saving people by wearing this mask.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
it was
Yeah.
it was like that. I mean, not like that here, but like when I got here, I went to Aldi was the first store that I went to
Oh,
here in
Aldi,
South
yeah.
Charleston.
That's awesome.
But I was walking around and like they weren't staring at me because I wasn't wearing a mask. They were staring at me because I was brown. I'm like,
So dumb.
no, but yeah, it's been a blessing being here, man.
Yeah. No, for
For
sure. For
sure.
all of us. This man's he's moving back to Texas. So I was like, man, I gotta get him on here before he leaves. Because he's gonna get stationed out there again. Um, well, he's out of the Marines, getting out, and then like he said, he's joining the
Air National
Air
Guard.
National Guard. So I was like, I gotta hop on. We'll end it here. Thank you, brother,
Of course.
Captain, my captain.
I'm I'm happy to have done this, man. This is awesome. Maybe one day we can do a remote. That would be
Yeah, I just gotta
nice.
stay on top of this. Make sure I'm continuing to make them.
Bro, no, I'm gonna keep you up to it.
Please don't. When you leave,
You,
we're severing all contact.
hey, yo, for his audience here.
Lose my number.
Hey, yo, for his audience, this dude is gonna post some more.
I'm gonna try.
You have
For
my
my
word.
audience, I'm gonna start out with like just see about once a month. I think that's a safe number. It's like telling people that have never been to the gym, they want to get into it. Hey, just go for a walk 3 times a week. Start there.
Yeah.
For me to commit to like something, I just don't want to commit to anything that I'm not going to be able to do.
Oh, for sure.
So
And it's especially like the editing and all that stuff. If you
yeah,
got
it
to
just
do
takes a
that,
minute. I got a job. I got 2 jobs and
2 jobs, two
so 2
phones.
phones.
Hey, yo,
One for the church and one for Work.
Let them cook.
One for the church and one for work.
Hey, why
That's a song.
why did my man
That's
just hit,
bars.
why did you just hit the hardest Drake face ever?
Chee. All right, Lupita.
All right, bro. I
Peace. Thanks,
appreciate
guys,
it.
for listening.
Thank y'all.
We'll have to hit a remote one of these days. Bring him back on if this goes well. If it's just like people don't like you, I'm not talking to you anymore.
Hey, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Hit that button. Hit that follow. Let's go. I want braids. Let's go.